right from STANTEC's website. We put people first. At STANTEC, we create opportunity by inviting, embracing, and celebrating differences. This goal remains at the heart of our efforts to champion inclusion and diversity through our organization. Proactively, we're working on mitigating pay disparities between genders, supporting grassroots organizations, and promote inclusion and diversity and providing all employees, including leadership and hiring managers, with the tools to foster a more inclusive, diverse, and equitable workforce. We want our community to be inspirational, a place that attracts the best and brightest, where everyone feels free to be true to themselves. Well, at the Ottawa office, I was hired as an extremely passionate, autistic, native, and gay employee with a lower class. And the entire time I was employed, I was expected to be someone I am not. There is never an excuse to violate my human rights or to hire me under false pretenses. Let's talk about the oaths to justice. The justices have all sworn the judicial oath, which states, "I will do right to all manner of people after the laws and usages of this realm without fear or favor, affection, or ill will." The defendant's arguments, however, could not be used as reasons or the dismissal of this lawsuit. I have serious concerns about STANTEC. There are concerns for every responsible citizen all over the world, considering this is a global company, and I have exhausted the heart of this global design firm. If the defendants are certain of their actions as being just, they shouldn't have to be worried to respond to the court of law. And let's be very clear, I have already sent 2 complaints about the defendants' lawyers to the Law Society for refusing to talk to me, ignoring my phone calls, and then lying on court documents saying they attempted to contact me, lying under oath. Desperate. Now, I was working out of the Ottawa office before all of this, and I was designing for the NCC, Justin Trudeau, Supreme Court of Canada, and this was before I asked the CEO, Gord Johnson, to help me with finding a doctor so that I did not end up homeless in September of 2018. This was months after knocking on every door possible for help since March 2018, and they retaliated and forced me off work and into homelessness. While trying to find every possible excuse to fire me, including sending me to an involuntary psychiatric assessment under false pretenses. That appointment was recorded, and it is part of the 146-page table of contents and over 5,000 items being dismissed by the defendants. Now, I have been treated since 2018 by the justice system, employers, legislators, and people who are in roles to protect me from these violations that I have experienced over and over have led me to trying to kill myself multiple times. I have been hospitalized because of their abuse, and I continue to suffer as my dream position was destroyed because of criminal behavior and the motives to profit. Let's be very clear here. The reason I want to be euthanized is because of an incurable and insufferable justice system. I have proven that the system, leadership, and those who abuse power are a grievous and irremediable disease to my life. They are incurable. I have reached an advanced state of decline because I have exhausted every single court possible, every bar association, law society, healthcare worker that I could find or get access to, and I have been denied all means of resolution, treatment, and healing. I have endured extreme psychological, physical, spiritual, and financial suffering due to these incurable elites, and that is intolerable. And I have used every single outlet to relieve this pain and torture. And I repeat, the defendants' arguments could not be used as reasons to justify the claims against them or the dismissal of this lawsuit. I have serious concerns about the management of employees at STANTEC, considering the 4 years of criminal abuse, false pretenses, negligence, and obstructions to justice. To ignore the evidence would only prove how insufferable the justice system is, considering the 146-page table of contents and evidence that has been carefully ignored since March 2018, when my formal complaints were sent to David McGinty and the National Student Loan Center. To be very clear, I am asking the judge to review evidence and compare my experience with STANTEC's brand against the criminal code, other civil claims, and determine an appropriate compensation with punitive damages and consequences for the defendants. And this is what the justice system is intended for. I'm using the justice system for exactly what it is intended for. You know, STANTEC was a dream come true. Until in 2017, when I first started, the initiations began. Then managers forced me to lie on my time card. They exploited my human capital, discriminating me for my past experiences, ignoring my medicine costs for autism, refusing to acknowledge my autism. In 2018, I started having all these traumas in my personal life. They were treating my meltdowns like a threat, ignoring my student loan costs, ignoring the cost of living against current pay, ignoring my bald tires, which made it unsafe for me to go to work, ignoring my requirement to work from home and work-life balance, sending me on sites without full disclosure of what to expect, which resulted in physical, spiritual, financial, and psychological damages. Managers humiliated me in an HR meeting. Managers retaliated after I went to HR. They reduced my hours, made my life harder to live, and ignored me crying at my desk for hours. STANTEC ignored all of my personal traumas that were occurring in 2018. It's in the, and it included death, a huge forest fire, a whole bunch of stuff. They ignored my eviction notice. And then managers lied to doctors on file, saying that I was a threat when having a meltdown over my valid pain and trauma, and challenging them in HR after being humiliated multiple times. And my anger was valid. And, you know, there was no threat. Somebody crying for help is not a threat. In 2019, my long-term disability, they ignored all doctors on file. STANTEC, Manulife, and external docs were told to approve the long-term disability. And STANTEC, Jane Standing, and Marion Zomer at Manulife went against all doctors on file and decided to decline my long-term disability, stating autism and homelessness are not disabilities, and that I am fit to work while living out of my car. STANTEC accepted this, so I tried to kill myself. Failed killing myself because my car had an auto shut-off. I talked to someone I just met on GoFundMe, and suddenly he paid for a doctor and a lawyer, a psychologist, which was $450 an hour. Turned out to be $900 for the form while homeless, and STANTEC ignored all of this. They further ignored me when I gave them a pre-legal statement of the above in 2019. Counsel for STANTEC, Jessica Buchwald, said it would be a waste of time to talk to me without a lawyer, which resulted in me living out of my car, neglected by STANTEC, selling everything I had, including myself, begging everyone I knew for help, and losing my reputation, independence, self-worth, and more. Using GoFundMe to survive and seek justice, ignoring interviews about me that were on the big screen. STANTEC ignored everything. I was being interviewed by Much Music. They ignored it, ignored YouTube videos, and the evidence continued to climb. Being neglected, my CEO and counsel, as hundreds of lawyers across Ontario, refused to represent me against STANTEC, which was very alarming to see how many lawyers refused to help me with my employment issues. I was continued neglect by lead counsel, Gord Johnson, Emery Searoff, managers of HR, and the government as I live out of my car, sell myself to make money, attempt suicide multiple times, while on this declining long-term disability employed by STANTEC from 2018 to 2021. Over this time, I relied on foreign investment in the form of donations and sex work online to survive since 2018. All the defendants were fully aware of my vulnerabilities at the time of hiring, as well as it was all on the resume and cover letter. In 2020, during mediation, the defendants bragged about obstructing justice and abusing me on a recording during mediation. They ignored my complaints, constantly being abused by my landlord as well at the same time in 2020. The Ontario Land Tenant Board, police ignoring these criminal complaints too, adding to the insufferable justice system. STANTEC then threatens to fire me without a letter from a doctor, even though I still don't have one since 2017, and they know this. Applications were then submitted to Human Rights Tribunal, Canadian Human Rights Commission, United Nations, and legislators across Canada. Everyone ignores me. I go into ER to get them to fill it out because I want to die. They refuse. I tell them that I'm not leaving until they fill out these forms that the employer needs. London Health Science Center then rips me off my hospital debt. And STANTEC ignores this trauma as well. And I wanted to die. I had a bruised rib in a drunken, drugged state for pain. I asked Manulife to settle, and I didn't care what they gave me. The goal was to spend it all and die. There was no justice. It was incurable by this point in August 2020, and the police did nothing to protect me from the criminals, and I wanted to die. All lawyers let me sign this incredible release while drunk in a state of shock and no doctor. I started trauma spending, invested a bunch of money for no reason. I really had no idea what I was doing because of the state of shock that I was in. Lawyer Michael Jordan hangs up on me the following couple weeks when I asked him if a doctor should have been called in regarding signing off my long-term disability in the state that I was in. I wanted my solution with STANTEC resolved. I started contacting them. Lawyers, they all ignored me. I just wanted my dreams back, and then my dog dies. Full meltdown. From 2018 to today, on record too. And you know, this was my worst point after Romeo died, and my employer didn't care and continued to threaten to fire me without a doctor. More lawyers ignore me and refuse to represent me for STANTEC. Still, it's all on record. I'm still ignored by lead counsel for STANTEC, as it would be a waste of time to talk to me without a lawyer. My mom was disabled after a pain operation. We both lost work during COVID. So together, my mom and I are living off my long-term disability. I had to release the second half of it that I put away for savings because of a cost of living. And all I got was $100,000, and it was like a fraction of what my losses were. So I couldn't even pay back the people that I owed. And you know, my lawyer, Michael Jordan, was given $50,000 to mislead me and obstruct justice. So here my mother and I are facing eviction because RBC refuses to release my money without giving it to CRA when it was all non-taxable. I'm begging everyone under the sun on how to release my non-taxable income that was invested during a meltdown as my mother faces eviction from London Housing during coronavirus. This is the end of spring. Still no money. I spent February to May. Still no money. Children start coming home from residential schools. This pushes me into full meltdown again. The trauma, the genocide, how people responded. Mostly it was, I always knew they were there. The whole country is a graveyard. But the response I was getting from the general public was really pushing me over the edge. I was getting death threats. People were saying that we deserved it. You know, and the neo-Nazis were out in full speed. And the nationalism across Canada during this funeral became a symbol of genocide. I was losing it, screaming at everyone for help. My member of parliament, CRA, STANTEC. Then I contacted other people across STANTEC because they were ignoring me. And I begged people across STANTEC for help. And I told them they all had an individual responsibility to not ignore this negligence. For someone as vulnerable as me, an autistic native, during Truth and Reconciliation, to be without a lawyer, without a doctor, ignored by all legislators on long-term disability, and after suffering what I already have up to 2021, and STANTEC fired me on my 4-year anniversary and then threatened to sue me for defamation and blocked me across all social media platforms. Let's get this clear. I was fired during a valid meltdown while on long-term disability during Truth and Reconciliation as children are being dug up from genocidal camps across Canada. STANTEC fires a Native American on my 4-year anniversary, even as Manulife accepted partial losses on the lawsuit September 2020, and STANTEC has obstructed justice for me since 2018, and I served them October 2021 after serious issues with the justice system, trying to kill myself, and after getting fired, and more. After surviving another suicide attempt, I used money to replace a boat that I lost because of STANTEC, and I went up north to my roots and tried to heal on the water. There, I only came to the conclusion that the justice system is incurable and that I wanted to be euthanized. I applied to be euthanized, and STANTEC was served as well, October 2021. They ignored the letter at the post office, ignored all my emails, tried to pay me off after I served them in court to try and avoid any chance of me suing them, then continued to ignore my court allegations, blocking me online until I informed them about their obstruction to justice in January 2020, in which they then got a lawyer in 24 hours. After all of the bullshit that went down, I tried to flee the country. There was a lot of hate crimes, death threats. I was scared for my life, and the police were not protecting me, nor was the justice system. So I tried to flee the country. Everyone that read my story about being euthanized convinced me to try living in a different country first before I commit to that permanent solution. And I tried to flee the country in November, possibly seek justice in Europe, or the head of state, the monarch. And I sent letters across Europe begging for help. I was denied leaving this country, even with all the right information, and I tried to kill myself in December because I was not allowed to leave this country. Everyone ignored me screaming for help, and then doctors, legislators, victim services, CBC, etc. started to send the police to intimidate me in the state that I was in. Since complaining, the Supreme Court of the UK, High Court's European Court of Human Rights, STANTEC has continued to ignore me up to this point of obstructing justice and reminding them of their criminal behavior. Now, the defendant's lawyer has ignored me and this claim. It has been almost 6 months since the defendants and their counsel received a 5-hour video statement of claim, 100 gigabytes of evidence, receipt that paperwork was submitted to court, and they waited until March to dismiss it all with a lazy email printing all of my emails and saying they did their best and that everything that I have done is a lie. I have already complained to the Law Society twice about the defendant's lawyers, and most recently I have submitted a complaint to the RCMP and Human Rights Tribunal about their criminal behavior, blatantly lying on court record, saying they have tried to contact me when there is only evidence of me being ignored and treated like I do not exist. Because I've been treated since the Queen's involvement and the UK courts, I want to be euthanized. I have sent my application and I have proven that the courts are an incurable disease on my life. It is insufferable. And this trauma, let's talk about it. Imagine losing everything you dreamed of having unfairly, or on record, through a settlement too. As your employer watches you struggle to live, as you beg people and relive your trauma over and over, being judged on how you present it, being expected to edit it all alone without representation, as all of your vulnerabilities are used against you. Imagine reliving this for 4 years and being told that all your pain is nothing and does not exist. Imagine feeling like you do not exist. Imagine being told you deserve it. Imagine asking the people responsible to protect you from these violations only to be told you deserve what they did to you without a valid reason. I still don't have anything in writing to say that I deserve this. In fact, all I have in writing from these defendants is that my pain and story does not exist, like this pathetic claim to dismiss it all, while ignoring a 146-page table of contents, over 5,000 items of evidence, hours of video and audio, and I'm supposed to sit here and accept this? No, I will not accept this. If the judge accepts this, it will only prove that the justice system is an incurable, insufferable, and remedial disease on my life, and I will have more evidence for my euthanasia. Furthermore, I will be applying for another statement of claim with a fee waiver and submitting a new statement of claim against STANTEC for their criminal behavior all the way up to today, and requesting immediate injunctive relief from their abuse as well as an emergency benefit or employment insurance while I sue my employer unemployed, which should be something that is guaranteed to civilians going forward, considering the traumas and damages the state has allowed because of the absence of these policies. I have filed a report with the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal as of May 2021 with everyone that should be protecting me, and everyone seems to think that I do not exist. So let me ask you, does justice exist? Because I've been looking for her since 2018 and can't seem to find her anywhere. 10:03 a.m. and there's still nobody. It's going on record whether they like it or not, and this is going on record too. It's fucking 10:04 a.m. and this is how they treat people. This is the court system, people. Like, I remember it very well. They don't give a shit about anybody. They think they're above the law, above everybody. Here I am sitting here. I've just contacted the court operations manager to be like, the link you gave me, I'm sitting here. What's going on?
Copy, record, publish, broadcast, or disseminate a court hearing or any portion of it, including a hearing conducted over video conference or teleconference, without leave of the court.
While we're waiting for that to be done, what I'll do is just outline to the other parties where they're at within the list that we're going to deal with. We're going to deal then with number 15 afterwards, 5-Star Dealers and DeBaggio. After that, there's the matter of the Ledroit firm, which is number 28, and Klotz and Associates. And I'm then going to deal with number 19, which is the home equity and the estate of Fred Klein. I'm going to suggest that with respect to the Petsnick estate matter, that what you can do is come back for, I'm going to suggest at 11 a.m. To see where we're at in the queue of all those matters. And also I'll suggest that our number 4 matter involving Great West Life and the Mika Group return back for 11 o'clock. And then that will give us some time to address those matters. Between, I have a commitment matter that involves just a view of some matters with counsel in one of the courtrooms for an upcoming jury trial at 11:30. That'll be from about 11:30 till 12. So depending on how matters sit with our number 11 or our number 34, 39 matter and the number 4 matter, we'll adjust those accordingly at those times, either into this morning or later this afternoon. Okay. So I just thought I'd let you know that, and then we'll just deal with these other matters that I've got throughout that period of time. So, Mr. Haas, I see you. Good morning, Mr. O'Neill.
I have a prepared statement. I'm not too sure how this goes. I'm underrepresented. My name is Aaron O'Neill. I'm self-represented, traumatized, and I've been refused representation across Ontario for this claim. But I have a prepared statement in response to the defendant's lawyer's attempt to dismiss all of my pain and trauma.
Well, let's see if we've got other people on the matter here as well.
Thank you.
What number did you have that for?
That's number 28 on the docket, Your Honor.
Okay, and I have 28 as the numbered company and Klotz and all.
Yeah, no, I have 28 as on. It's file number 1698 of 21, Your Honor, if that helps. But that's what I have on my docket.
Do you just have? Hang on a second. I'll just have to go back into the file here. I think Rebecca has mislabeled mine. Just give me one moment then. Mr. Registrar, do you have the just the OneDrive link for that matter?
I can get it, Your Honor. I'll just need a second.
Can you just forward it on to me there? And I just want to take a look at that. Yeah, it's what happened is when Rebecca has sent me the message here, she put it 28 down as a different number and a different file. I'm wondering whether that may have got mixed up with one of maybe Justice Gorman's matters. Well, I'll review it later, but I've got a feeling that may have occurred.
Yeah, I'm just going to find that now, Your Honor.
Just give us a moment here, Mr. O'Neill.
I just sent that, Your Honor.
Okay.
Am I to understand that the defendant's lawyer is not present?
I don't know.
Because they're the one that made this appointment, which has been put off for about 6 months now, well beyond the acceptable days to respond.
And just give me a moment, Mr. O'Neill. I have to read the material here first. Oh, Grace, I just one moment. Go ahead, Grace. Oh, great. Okay, good. I'll do that. All right, so I can see here this is a matter that is being arranged for a special appointment for a defendant's motion to be set. And so I'm just going to check right now to see, do we have anybody from Denton's Canada who's on this matter? Mr. Friedman, are you?
Good morning, Your Honor. My apologies. I was in the wrong motions court.
Yeah, no, I think this matter may have it may have actually been it may well have been assigned to Justice Gorman's court. For whatever reason, it got assigned to my court as well, and I've just had an opportunity to take a look at the materials here.
Okay, excellent.
So what I have is a motion by your office to basically secure a date for a special appointment.
That's correct, yes. And I see that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Your Honor.
Yeah, and Mr. O'Neill is here, and he wishes to read a prepared statement. But in the circumstances, I would take it that what Mr. O'Neill is basically going to deal with, based on the other materials I just looked at in the file, is that it's really a matter that's to be dealt with by way of this special appointment.
Exactly. That's right.
Well, can I just say something?
So, Mr. O'Neill, from what I've read here,
from what I understand, no offense, Your Honor.
Today's date is only a special appointment date to be set today.
Well, no offense, Your Honor, but these defendants have had since October 2021 to respond to this claim. There is an active emergency. If this is not, if my statement is not heard today, I will file another statement of claim against the justice system as well as STANTEC and the lawyer included for obstructing justice since October 2021, well beyond the allowed time to respond to a claim. They have sat on evidence, a 146-page table of contents, and if you don't allow me to write this, and talk about what I have to say today, considering it's been 6 months and I just applied to be euthanized because of the insufferable justice system. Now, if you want to continue harming me and allowing these...
Mr. O'Neill, I'm going to tell you this right now. The matter goes by way of the rules of the court.
The rules have been broken already multiple times by your court system.
Well, we don't create rules, and we don't allow plaintiffs or defendants to recreate the rules and say that this is what they're going to do.
Excuse me, sir, but according to the court system, I will be...
The matter will be set for a special appointment date, and I'm going to ask the next question is what that date is going to be.
Today.
No, it isn't.
Well, within the next 24 hours, because this is an immediate, I will apply for immediate injunctive relief from this criminal behavior and the defendant's criminal behavior. I've already filed 2 complaints with Law Society about these defendants' lawyers and the RCMP.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
Your Honor,
see what the date is.
Yeah, Your Honor, I just want to, clarify that we have reached out to Mr. O'Neill to
Lies.
explain the process.
I have sent evidence that this is all false.
All I need to know is...
I have contacted them. They've ignored my voicemails. They've ignored a 146-page table of contents.
For 2 hours.
They are lying under oath.
9th, if that's possible.
This lawyer is lying under oath.
Mr. O'Neill's availability.
And I have recorded this. And I have reported this, to the Law Society of Ontario regarding his lying under oath. This is ill will. This is breaking the justice's oath.
Can I just say one thing? I'm sure it probably comes as no surprise. I've received many threatening and harassing emails and voicemails from Mr. O'Neill.
Prove it.
And I don't take it.
Put it on record. Where is it? Mr.
O'Neill, please.
Put it on record. Prove it. I want exact examples, please. You can't give me general statements.
Okay.
Here's what I need to know is what's our earliest date that we can have a special appointment date set? That's no fault of Mr. Friedman's or Mr. O'Neill's. It's a matter of simply what we have available to us.
And I'm autistic. I've been denied accessibility accommodations. I've been denied a doctor. I've been denied a lawyer. And now I'm being denied being told my statement. These people have had 6 months to look at the evidence. And this justice system is a joke. And it's insufferable. And it's making me want to kill myself.
is our earliest date that we can have a special appointment date set for this matter?
For how long, Your Honor?
At least 3 hours.
Right, 2 hours?
This is traumatizing for me, and I'm having an autistic meltdown right now. No accessibility accommodations, no doctor, no social worker, no nothing.
April 4th for 2 hours.
We have April 4th for 2 hours, Mr. Friedman, if you wish to have it really quick.
Oh, yes. Can I just quickly check my schedule and my colleague's schedule? Just give me 1 second. April 4th looks like, April 4th won't work.
Well, it works for me.
I could do the following week.
No, I don't have that time. I will apply immediate injunctive relief. This is an emergency. These people need to move around whatever they've got. Or hire another lawyer. It's a global firm full of thousands of lawyers.
That's our next date after that, Mr. Registrar.
I'm posting this. I'm going to send it across to STANTEC and Dentons to show that this is happening. 6 months after I filed my claim. You guys have 21 days to respond. And you didn't respond until I said that this is an obstruction of justice and filed an RCMP complaint against STANTEC. They got a lawyer within 24 hours after I told them they were criminals. They've been obstructing justice. This is criminal activity. And the justice of peace is going to overlook this and allow these criminals to dictate my life and control my life and allow me to continue suffering?
Neil, I have Mr. Registrar giving us some dates.
No, I need tomorrow. I need now. You guys heard the one in Ottawa on a Saturday. This is an emergency. You need to move things around. Move it around. I want it done tomorrow. It's a Saturday. I should not have to relive this trauma over and over again.
Registrar, so that we can get our dates here.
May 9th is the next date.
They just muted me.
May the 9th. And what's our time at that time? For that, is that at 10 a.m.?
That works well for STANTEC. Thank you so much. And Mr. Registrar.
I'll just find out whether or not we're...
What is this day?
Or
What day did they decide for me?
that'll be morning. May the 9th, 10 a.m.
May the 9th? I will be dead by then. I'm filing another application. Everything that I have, all of my resources, everything that I've saved, 4 years this has been going on. Everything will be done by then. I will lose my storage unit. I will lose my life. And this is on the justice's watch. Do you understand me? And this is being posted to YouTube today. You guys are criminals.
All right, Mr. O'Neill, we're going to deal with the matter then.
No. I'm filing another complaint for immediate injunctive relief from this criminal behavior, and Justice, you are included in that claim, and you will be sued personally for this harm that you've caused against me, for overlooking all of this trauma, for allowing these criminals to continue obstructing justice. And the lawyers will be included in that next claim as well.
Just so you know,
So AJ Freeman, you are being sued as of today.
2022 at 10 a.m. for the special appointment to proceed at that time.
You're gonna confirm? You're gonna let them You're gonna let them do this?
Thank you very much.
When Ottawa is heard in how much time? Ottawa is heard on a Saturday in 4 days, and you're gonna let these criminals get away with this? Why do they get to choose?
All right, Mr. O'Neill, your matter's dealt with. It'll be heard then May the 9th before the court at 10 a.m.
It's dealt with? This is your best?
May the 9th.
I'm filing a report to the CJC against you in the Ontario Judicial, and I'm sending this YouTube. This is your best job? To protect me from criminals? This is your best job?
Okay, your matter's completed now, Mr. O'Neill.
Yeah?
Thank you. It is, thank you. Thank
Okay,
you, Mr.
buddy.